Welcome to Whisper Dream Nights. My name is Selene, and today I'll guide you into a gentle story of rest and quiet, where the earth itself becomes your pillow and the breath of the valley settles your mind. You begin at the edge of a wide valley just after the soft light of late afternoon has turned everything gold. The air is mild. The path under your feet is a ribbon of fine sand and small, rounded stones, warm from the day. Somewhere far off, a river moves with a steady hush, a breath that belongs to the land. You stand still for a moment and feel the quiet enter you, as if the valley were breathing you in. Ahead, tall grasses sway in unison, the stalks whispering as they lean and rise with the breeze. A few swallows skim the air over the meadow, bodies sharp and effortless, drawing invisible arcs you can almost trace with your eyes. You step forward and the ground responds, solid, patient, carrying you without hurry. The world invites you to soften, and you do. The path leads down between hedges of wild thyme and rosemary. When you brush the leaves with your fingertips, a faint perfume releases, clean, herbal, almost like a memory of sun. You pause to breathe it in. With each exhale, a layer of tension slips away, as if the scent is a key turning quietly in a lock. You continue, and the valley accepts you deeper. The sound of the river grows fuller. It is not loud, only constant. Like a friend speaking in a low voice nearby. You follow the curve of a small hill, where smooth stones scatter like pale eggs in the grass, and you notice the way light collects along their edges. A single hawk circles high above, a distant comma written across the broad sky. Everything here knows how to move slowly. Everything here remembers how to rest. A stand of tall poplars rises ahead, their leaves trembling with the slightest wind, silver on one side, green on the other. As you approach, they murmur softly, a gentle sea of sound. You pass beneath them, and the air changes, cooler, laced with the promise of water. The ground darkens. The scent of damp earth comes up like a blessing. There it is, the river. It's wider than you expected, and clear enough that stones on the bottom look magnified, smooth and bright as if polished by time. Where the water deepens, the surface grows dark, a slow-moving mirror that holds the sky. You crouch and dip your fingers in. The cool meets your skin and then warms, a conversation of temperatures. You watch the rings spread outward, gentle and precise, carrying your touch into the larger world. Across the water, a line of alders leans toward the current, roots braided into the bank. Every once in a while, a leaf detaches and begins its quiet voyage downstream. The river accepts it without effort. You take a breath and let your shoulders soften in the same way. The body knows how to release, like a leaf knows how to float. You walk along the bank, steps matched to the river's unhurried pace. A simple wooden footbridge appears around the bend. Weathered planks, old iron nails, the faintest smell of pine pitch warming under the light. You step onto it. The boards answer with a soft creak, not protesting, only acknowledging your presence. Midway, you stop and rest your hands on the rail. The current below is a slow braid of light and shadow. Tiny fish flicker, like brief thoughts passing through a spacious mind. You watch them come and go without trying to keep them. It feels natural to let things pass. On the far side, the path widens into a meadow shaped like a shallow bowl. The grass is short and dotted with little white flowers. A line of stones forms a low wall, not to keep anything out, just to mark the memory of a boundary that no one needs anymore. You choose a place to sit, a smooth, flat rock warmed through. When you lower yourself, the stone feels like a hand holding you from beneath. You close your eyes and the meadow expands in your awareness. Open, luminous, easy. Breath moves through you like the river. Inhaling, the ribs lift and widen. Exhaling, everything settles. You notice the contact points, back resting against the shape of the world, thighs supported, feet relaxed. The body begins to understand that it is safe, and with safety comes unwinding. Small muscles in the face let go. The jaw softens. The throat is clear and unguarded. You feel the heart area spacious, not as an idea, but as a gentle openness that doesn't need to do anything. The breeze carries a faint bell-like sound. You realize it's the insects in the grasses, a soft, steady chorus. Their presence is quiet company. A pair of finches lands on the stone wall and chatters lightly, then lifts away again, as if the air itself were a kind of playful water. The ordinary beauty of their movement leaves a trace of gratitude in you, the lightest impression, like a fingertip on water. You lay back with your head cradled in your hands, elbows wide, and gaze up. Above, the sky is a pale blue cloth. A few long clouds drift slowly, unstitched at the edges. You feel a sympathetic movement inside, thoughts unspooling in the same gentle way. There is nothing to fix and nothing to finish. The land suggests this, and you agree. After a while, you rise and walk again, this time toward the far end of the meadow, where a row of stones marks another path. It climbs gently, curving along the valley's side. As you ascend, your view opens. The river below, now a silver thread, the poplars a soft line of color, the meadow a calm green oval where you can still sense your warmth on the flat rock. You carry the place with you even as you leave it, the way the body carries the imprint of a kind hand. At the top of the slope, the ground levels onto a broad terrace of limestone, pale as bone. Here the wind moves in larger strokes, but it is still friendly, still warm. In the center of the terrace stands a single olive tree, trunk wide, bark contoured into flowing seams like river maps. You step into its shade. The leaves show their two tones as they turn, green and silver, green and silver. An unending conversation. You lean your back against the trunk and feel its solidity on your spine, old and steady, like time itself is leaning back into you. Now you let the breath deepen as if you could draw in the quiet of the valley and let it travel through you. On the exhale, you release what is heavy into the trunk behind you, asking the tree to hold a little of your weight. It agrees wordlessly. In this exchange, you feel something shift. What needed holding is held. What needed space has space. Your awareness spreads outward without effort, like shade at noon. Your feet begin to trust the ground in a new way. Your hands, resting on your knees, feel warm and unhurried. Thoughts that once pressed at the edges of your attention now sink and dissolve, like stones settling into clear water. You do nothing to force this. The land teaches you how to let it happen. When you open your eyes again, the light has changed. Shadows lengthen, their edges soft as wool. The valley grows even quieter, as if preparing a bed for the evening. You walk on, letting the path choose for you. It guides you along a contour line carved by rain and time until you arrive at a small spring. Water wells up from the rock in a clear bowl no larger than your palm. Tiny ripples move outward and fade. You kneel and cup your hands, drink, and feel the coolness spread through your chest. The taste is clean, almost sweet. When you look into the shallow mirror of the spring, you see not only your features, but the softer expression that arrives when struggle loosens its grip. The path lowers gently back toward the river. You hear it before you see it, then glimpse it through gaps in alder leaves. A gravel bar glows faintly, a crescent of pale stones where the current slows. You make your way there and step onto the smooth pebbles. The ground gives a hushed crunch under your feet. A long, fallen branch lies near the water's edge. You sit on it and watch the surface slip by, the way minutes slip through an easy hour. Across from you, a heron stands in the shallows, tall, still, a blade of presence. You remain as you are, a respectful distance away. The bird lifts one foot, then the other, places each carefully. Then, with a motion that is both sudden and quiet, the heron opens its wings and rises, the span of them astonishing and calm. It passes over the water and disappears behind the alders. In the space it leaves behind, your own breath feels wider. Evening begins to gather in the gentlest way. The colors don't vanish so much as fold into one another. Gold to peach, peach to lavender, lavender to blue. The air smells a little like cool stone. A few early stars take their places in the paling sky, as if they've been there all along, just waiting for your eyes to adjust. You stand and stretch, slow and easy, and continue downstream where the river makes a broad curve. There's a small clearing here, open to the sky, with a floor of soft needles beneath a pair of tall pines. You step under them and feel the whirl grow softer still. The scent of resin is faint and comforting. You lie down and let the ground cradle the long shape of you. The pines speak in a language of breath, their upper branches sounding like distant surf. Between them, a window of sky opens, deepening into evening. You rest inside that blue. Birds settle, one by one. Somewhere water keeps its steady conversation. Your body becomes simple. Weight, warmth, the rise and fall of breath, the easy spread of quiet through muscles and bones. Attention narrows to the pleasantness of being held by the land, then widens again to include the cool touch of air on your cheek, the faint brush of a moth's wing passing through the dark. The valley seems to exhale with you. There is no difference now between the river's hush and the soft sound of your breathing. No difference between the warmth of your hands and the lingering heat stored in the ground. The day loosens its final threads. Night takes them up gently. You close your eyes, and the world keeps watch. You wake not from sleep, but into a deeper quiet. Your eyes remain closed. The pine needles cradle you as if they've arranged themselves just to match your shape. Above, the window of sky has turned velvety, a blue so deep it feels like water. Stars hold their small positions, steady and undemanding. The air carries a mild chill that clears the mind without asking anything of it. You sit up slowly, and the body answers with a pleasant heaviness, the kind that comes after long rest. You wrap your arms around your knees and listen. The river is all patience. The night insects stitch a thin silver thread across the dark. Somewhere, far up the valley, an owl speaks once, then again, as if to mark the hour without measuring it. You stand and brush pine needles from your clothes, then follow the curve of the clearing to a faint path that leads to a low rise. From there, you can see a wide bend of the river, and beyond it, an open field washed by moonlight. The moon has lifted while you were resting. It hangs just above the horizon like a bowl of milk, and its light rides the water in a wide, trembling road. You walk toward that road, not to reach it, but to travel beside it. Each step is deliberate. The ground is visible enough by moonlight, pale stones, the soft sheen of damp leaves, the darker shapes of roots. You learn the map by touch and sound. When you reach the bank, you sit again, this time with your back against a smooth boulder, still holding the day's warmth. Moonlight paints your hands. Your breath is a gentle metronome. You are here, and here is enough. In this light, the valley shows another face, quieter, even kinder. The alders hold their dark shapes like listeners. The surface of the river carries tiny threads of brightness, breaks them, makes them again. You think of how often the mind tries to hold and shape the world, and how the world, left to itself, simply changes shape while remaining whole. The thought moves through you like a boat through soft water, leaving no wake. A soft mist begins to form, rising from the cool surface and laying itself along the banks. It does not hide things, it softens them. The stones become gentler in outline, the grass less specific. You feel the same softening in yourself. Edges blur. What once felt separate becomes part of a single, easy field. You let your breath move into that field, the way the river gives its current to the bend. After a while, no way to say how long, you rise and wander toward the open field you saw from the rise. The grass there is short and springy underfoot. The moon sits at your left shoulder as if accompanying you. You walk to the center and simply stand. The night has the softest temperature, cool at the skin, warm where your hands rest together, a living balance. You tilt your head back and the sky fills your vision. The stars, like quiet punctuation, marks on a sentence that has no end. Here, in the center of the field, you feel the earth's slow attention. It seems to listen not to your words, but to your weight, your warmth, your simple fact of being. You sense the long patience beneath your feet, the uncountable cycles of rain and seed and bloom the land has carried. Time flattens into a gentle present. You breathe and the earth breathes. You stand and the field stands with you. You lower yourself to the grass and lie on your side, one hand beneath your head. The soil carries a faint sweetness, like dry straw and cool stone. The field curves slightly, just enough to cradle the back. You let your eyes close and picture the river's slow shine, the owl's measured voice, the poplar leaves with their two tones, the olive tree with its wide trunk. You gather these images not to hold them tightly, but to let them rest together, the way stones rest in a shallow dish. When you open your eyes again, the horizon is a shade lighter. Night has reached its deepest point and begun to lift on the far edge. Dawn is not a line, but a suggestion. You sit up and watch the suggestion strengthen. The field turns from silver to soft gray, to a faint wash of green you can feel in your chest. It is early enough that the world pretends to be asleep, but you can hear its waking. A distant thrush, a stir in the alders, the small tick of cooling stones. You walk back toward the river as the sky lifts. A light wind moves upstream, carrying a smell of water and distant rain, though the sky remains clear. The footbridge returns, uncomplicated and exactly itself. You step onto it and stand at the center again. Beneath you, the water shows the first colors of the day. The palest pink brushed on the darker blue, the gentlest suggestion of gold. The fish begin their work of flickering. A single dragonfly skates the surface like a narrow blue coin. On the far bank, the meadow where you rested earlier comes into view, soft and inviting. The flat rock where you lay, now touched by a small slant of light. You cross and return to that place, not to repeat anything, but to acknowledge it. When you sit, the rock greets you with new warmth. The grasses carry beads of dew that gather and let go, like breath practiced over time. You lie back and let the first true sunlight find your face through the slight openings of your eyelids. It feels like a hand, like a blessing, like an answer to a question you didn't need to ask. Birds assemble a more complex morning music. The river keeps its steady paragraph of sound. You allow the light to soak into your forehead, the cheeks, the jaw, to rest in the hollow of the throat and spread slowly through the chest. The warmth becomes an inner weather, calm, even, kind. As the field brightens, the valley shows its familiar colors again. The olive tree silver green on the terrace, the poplars shining, the alders dark and friendly along the bank. You feel a gentle readiness now, not to leave this place, but to carry it within you. The rest has done its work. The mind is a clear pool. The body is a quiet house with the windows open. The heart holds a simple gratitude that doesn't need words. You rise slowly and stand, facing the curve of the river. For a moment, you close your eyes once more and feel the valley breathe. Then you turn toward the path, the same thread of sand and stone, the same thyme and rosemary, their fragrance now bright in the warming air. You walk without hurry. The land accompanies you for as long as it can, then lets you go, the way a kind friend releases a hand at the edge of a gate. At the valley's opening, you pause and look back. The water gleams, the field rests, the distant hawk cuts its clean arc. You take a slow breath in and a soft breath out, like drawing a curtain at the end of a gentle day. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to be held. The quiet you found here has found you, and it travels with you now, an unbroken thread. Your journey through the valley of quiet waters is complete. May its calm return to you whenever you need it, as steady as the river and as kind as the morning light.